How's it going, guys? It's LooseArrowBoy, and welcome to episode 2.1 of Personal Finance After Hours. Today we'll talk about how I'm going about my budget plan, my goals, how my goals have changed, what my investing looks like for me, and what I plan to do for 2023. How's it going, guys? It's LooseArrowBoy, and thanks for joining me again on episode 2.1 of Personal Finance After Hours. As you've noticed, I've changed the name from Masterclass to After Hours because I think it's more appropriate to call it After Hours, because if we're being a little bit more laid back, it's not really a masterclass anymore, right? However, it will give a lot more information, in-depth about me, and a little bit more personal explanation about the concepts we talk about and how they really plan out in real life scenarios. These are less edits, a little bit less scripted, and how I use these personal finance fundamentals in my life. So in the episode in How to Invest, we went over how you should allocate your money. And basically it's just, you should have a savings, like an emergency fund of some sort, meet your company match to get the free money, pay down high interest debt. Oh man, I think I forgot to talk about low interest debt. All right, so I just had to go back and record the step to pay down your low interest debts. Completely forgot to mention that, but now it's in there, and now you guys know it because you joined my after hours. Okay, so basically in the episode How to Invest, it goes through general guidelines of how you should allocate your money. So first is really to set your budget, your realistic goals, build an emergency fund, take advantage of your company match, and then pay down high interest debt, increase your savings to about 3 to 6 months of expenses, save for large purchases that are in the short term, and then finally save for the long term. The general idea is to have enough cash to cover any of your sudden expenses so you don't need to take out any debt or loan to cover it, and then all the money you have afterwards save for your short-term and long-term goals. The idea is that you will hit your short-term and long-term goals even if you lose your job for 6 months or you have to fix something suddenly with your car, right? You have the emergency fund to cover that. I briefly went over how I budget and planned in that video, but let's go in depth about how I budget and plan and how it's changed over time. Okay, so this was probably my first budget that I created for 2020. I got a new job in 2019. I had a salary of $45,000. And between that time, or December 2019, I didn't really have any goal with my money. I was just earning more, and I had so much money, I wasn't exactly sure what I should be doing with it. Going from a job where I was making only $12,000 a year to a job where I was making $45,000 a year is a big deal. And for a lot of people, even if you are at a higher pay bracket, when you have that doubling or tripling of your salary, you might not do what's best. What I mean is you might increase your standard of living. You might start buying more. You might upgrade your house. You might upgrade your car. And what's happening is that you're spending more money and you're not saving more money. You're not increasing your wealth, right? You're buying more things. You're not buying assets that give you wealth. That is a complication that happens with a lot of people's finances as they progress in life. Around December of 2019, I realized I had a lot of money saved up, but nothing, workable with it. Like nothing to put it towards to move me to the next level. I discussed in the last After Hours episode, right? I think it was the last one, where I said, I want to figure out how to bring myself to the next level. In video games, it's all about leveling up your character, buying equipment that will help you level up faster and gain more money faster. And the same applies in real life. How can I use my time? How can I use my wealth in order to bring myself to the next level. And the thing is, with money, it's a lot simpler than a lot of people think. So basically, think of it this way. If I invest $100, I increase my salary by $4. So you just keep doing that over and over and over again, and before you realize that you've increased your salary by $1,000 and you didn't need to work harder at your job, you didn't need to get a promotion, all you had to do was just invest that money. My initial budget was in 2020. I actually got a promotion that year, so I was making $47,000 instead of $45,000. And I calculate based on after taxes and after contributions because I don't want to overestimate my income. Because I want to go above and beyond, especially for my retirement, I don't even include my 401k contributions. When your investments and your salary is much lower and you really want to optimize hitting your goals, then yes, you should calculate your 401k contributions into your overall financial future. But for me, it was really just extra. Like my goal isn't to have a big 401k when I'm 60, 65. My goal is to have a large enough portfolio that it can help supplement my income in the short term. So I'm thinking like age 40, age 50, I want to tap into this portfolio, and my contributions to my 401k doesn't really add to that goal. So it's in the back of my mind, but it's not part of my overall target, my overall goals. I was doing my net income, and I calculated all my expenses, right? I spend about $30 a week on gas. Car maintenance, I just looked up average cost of owning a car, and now it's about $900. And then I also pay into my car insurance, which is about $36. My car back then was different. It was a 2005 Forester. And so, you know, the coverage for it, you didn't need to be like, you know, in complete coverage, you know, just needed to cover basic liabilities, right? So we were able to reduce our car insurance. After I had my expenses, I went back and I subtracted it. So, right, so I calculated my expenses, my needed regular expenses to be $4,731. And then I just tweaked my sheet so that the only thing that I needed to change is my target savings. And then I just started with a number and I started increasing it. And basically the only thing that was really changing on my sheet, because I already set my income and I set my expenses, like those are not changing. So the only thing that I'm actually changing is my target savings goal up here, and watching it change my discretionary income, or yeah, my discretionary funds that I could use. So I just keep increasing this amount. So let's just say $10,000, and then it said I had $343 extra dollars to use. And now, you know, to me it was outrageous. So I just kept increasing it and increasing it. Like I didn't know what the number was, but you know, funny enough, I landed on $25,000, a nice round number. And that left me about $54 or $55 a week to spend. And that's really small amount. A lot of people, that wouldn't be enough, but I knew I could do this because if I look back at the bills that I gave myself, there are a couple things here that I already overestimated. Car gas, it wasn't $30 a week. It was probably like $60 every 3 weeks. So I already like overestimated that. Another thing was my car maintenance. Yes, I should be saving for that, but not every year will you spend $913. This is just an average of owning a car for like 10, 15 years, right? There's definitely an extra like maybe $50 a week that I could tap into. I knew that at the back of my mind, so I knew I had a little bit more wiggle room than what I had on paper. And that's important to know. You need to know where your wiggle room is, right? If you budget too tightly, you'll end up in a situation where you need to micromanage everything. You know, it's very easy just to fall off track if this isn't something that you enjoy doing. To invest $25,000 a year, I just needed to invest $480.77 per week. And I would automatically do that into my portfolio. At the time, my goal was just to create a large portfolio. If you go back to my older videos, one of them was to hit a net worth of $100,000. And at the time of starting this budget, I had about $30,000 to $40,000 net worth. Keep in mind, only about $10,000 of that was invested and the rest of it was cash. At that point, I kept $10,000 cash and I moved about $30,000 into investments. I use M1 Finance. You could use other brokers. You can use Fidelity, Vanguard, but I came across M1 Finance through, various YouTubers. It is a very automated process. They allow you to do fractional shares and they allow you to create your own pie. So like, let's just say I have a pie of 5 stocks. I throw in $100 and depending on what percentage each stock is in that pie, you'll just automatically buy that amount. It's very automated, very easy to use. I also opened up a credit card with them and a savings account with them. They actually have quite a good high yield savings. Although it is a subscription, I believe it's $125 a year. The benefits for me personally outweigh that expense. I get 5% cash back on purchasing gas from Exxon, right? If I buy gas from Exxon, I get 5% back. That's a pretty big deal for me, especially now that I have to commute more. Another thing is that I could borrow, right? Because I'm doing that $125 subscription, I can borrow against my account. I could borrow $27,700 against my investments at 5.75% interest. It's much higher today than it was before. Before like the rate hikes, it was actually like less than 2%. So it was actually a very, very useful option to have. 5.75% is still useful to have because I can just take it like that. So these are the current benefits of the membership. So like I said, margin loans against your account, 3% back on your checking account. Right now, that's pretty good. I think the last I saw, one of the higher ones are 5% if you can find them. But 3% is still very high for a savings account. So that's why I like to keep it. I also have, the credit card, get up to 10% cash back at eligible, like retailers if I buy them from, down to at least 1.5%. So I'm at least getting 1.5% cash back. And not only that, I don't use the 1.5% or I don't use the cash back. I automatically have that deposited into my portfolio. Because what I used to do on my Discover card is I get 1% cash back and then I watch it go up. And then when I had like $500, I just use it on something. So instead, now it just gets automatically put into my portfolio. So I don't, spend it on something extra. Like it's actually going towards buying more stock. Oh, what's also crazy is the 1% cash back on their debit card, right? If you have your money in their savings account, 1% cash back on a debit card, that was another reason why I loved it. There's a gas station nearby that usually had the lowest prices, but you had to use a debit card, and having that 1% cash back just, encouraged me to get this. There's another things for like trading windows, not really important, these things down here, but tangent aside, let's look at how I've been funding my account since the beginning. The beginning of 2020, I put in $26,673 into my account. I think I also M1 Finance also lets you have crypto and tax advantage accounts. It's like a Roth. Yeah, 2020, I didn't think about putting money into here. My first year of following my budget and investing, I put $26,000 into my taxable account. That was my goal. That was my target. So I met it. Let's go into 2021 and see how my goals changed. Okay, so this is my budget for 2021. There's a little, I forgot when I updated it, but I started the year making about like 55,000 and I eventually got a raise to 60,000. Yes, give myself a little bit more wiggle room in my discretion. I earn more money. I should get a little bit more to spend on myself, but at the same time, increased amount of money I'm saving to build more wealth. I increased my savings to $32,000 a year, and that gave me about $80 a week that I could spend for discretion. And that was about a $30 increase. Going 1 year at about like $50 to going to like about $80 was a pretty big deal. I kind of was on that goal, but I also wasn't. So this is what I mean by I kind of was on that goal and I kind of wasn't. It says here that I invested $3,800 and $6,000, so that's like about $9,800. I also invested money into Webull because I was into GameStop and AMC. It was about $20,000. So in total, you know, I had $20,000 plus the stuff I did in Webull, which is $9,000 ish, a little bit more. It was about $29,000. I calculated it. It did invest $32,000. But the reason why it looks kind of funny in my M1 finance is because I utilized the loan, right? I took a loan against my M1 finance because at the time it was like a 1% interest. So I took it, put it into like GameStop and all that stuff. Regrettable decision, but you know, live and learn. And you know, that's how that year went. And honestly, it wasn't that bad considering where everything went, because if we want to go into my mint account, end of 2020, I got about 100k net worth, and despite, you know, everything that I did, right, all my dumb stuff, by the end of 2021 I had about $160,000 net worth, right? Not bad. I then had to again change my goals for 2022 going into 2023. I was in the middle of transitioning jobs, or I got a new job, and then I was in a transitioning phase where I didn't work for almost a month. So it kind of made it kind of weird to actually calculate accurately what my goals were. But this is what I came up with. Okay, so this is my budget for 2022 going into 2023. I made sure that I would increase my savings and make sure that my discretionary income wasn't too high. And by the end of it, I gave myself $175 a week. And the only reason why I really did that was during that period of time where I wasn't making any money, I did go on like, personal trips and whatnot. And I was using more money, so I wanted to like balance it out. The major thing that I changed was how much gas I was using, right? It went up to about $90 a week, which actually is an overestimate, but for me, it was a good thing to put in. And by the end of it, I'm saving and investing $900 a week. I really would like to get this to 1,000. I think in the beginning of 2023, I'm going to bump this up to 1,000. And actually, I think I'll be able to do that. Let's just do that math right now. So this is 46,800. Let's see. So I think I will bump it up to about $961. That's what I'll probably do going into 2023. Months between March and now, I've been saving and investing about $900 a week. So in my M1 finance, I this year have contributed about $30,430, and I think my goal is to do about $48,000, but that was assuming that I started the year making this much money. But it wasn't until later that I started making this. It's a lot of math, and I don't want to be like, oh, I was making this much money from January to February, and then from February to April, I was making no money, and then I started making money. Complicated, but just know, I can know for sure that I invested about $30,000 here, and $36,210 here, and one more place, because remember, I had to adjust my investing to save for a down payment for a house. Instead, I started putting money just to savings. 36,000. Yeah, so this year I've saved and or invested about $44,000. Okay, so if you want to see how I'm automating this, basically you can see that I'm automatically transferring every week $10 in cryptocurrencies, $890 every week into my savings account. And then I have also had other things before. Remember when I took out a loan against my account, I had automatic $100 every week going to it to pay it off. When they actually increased the rates to like about 5%, I just paid off the whole thing using my savings. Yeah, I could have always done it. It's just that the interest rate was so low that I just didn't do it. But in the last couple of months, I just paid off the whole thing with my savings. I didn't want, you know, the loss that I was taking for like the 5% interest over the year would be way more than just, you know, just paying it off. So I just paid it off. And then I also have auto pay for my credit card. You know, that's where I am with my financial situation. Like I said, I needed to change my strategy to start saving for my down payment. And I think I've calculated it to be, I'm going to reach my goal in about 40 weeks. And hopefully by then the housing market would have stabilized a little bit, so I know what I'm getting into. I know what the interest rate's gonna be. Right now everything's just all over the place, and from the information I've learned, usually the housing market lags behind any changes that are currently happening. So if they increase rates or decrease rates, the housing market doesn't reflect it for at least about 3 to 6 months. So we'll see how the market looks like about 40 weeks from now. So just to recap, I went over my budget, how I budget, how my budgeting has actually changed year to year, especially with my change of income. I talked about how my goals have changed, especially because I now want to buy like a house or a condo in the near future, and what my goals are for 2023 are. I really want to get to a point where I am saving and investing about $1,000 per week. It's a really nice number to get to, but I don't think I'll get to it. But at the very least, I can invest and save about $50,000 a year, and that'd be nice. Personally, I think I can do more than that, but I think what's happening is I'm actually contributing more money to my 401k than I realize. That's why it seems like I have a lot less take home. It just automatically getting taken out, and remember, I'm not calculating it in. But a key takeaway is watch out for your lifestyle inflation as you get raises, as you get like bonuses, things like that. Make sure to incorporate that into your budget plan, and don't start increasing your lifestyle and not also increasing your wealth building. Thank you guys for stopping by for another episode of Personal Finance After Hours. Leave a like and subscribe, and let's continue this financial journey together. And I'll see you all next time.